Hello, welcome to Pub Football Review, where we look back over the Premier League weekend. Two unhappy fans, I think, for their clubs to go through. We're going to go through all the other games as well, starting with the start of the weekend. Of course, the weekend kicked off in big fashion with the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. 2-2, controversial. So, let's just break down some of the key points. Jordan Pickford should be sent off, regardless of the offside. You don't have to give the penalty, but it should be sent off. If it had been an offside and then someone had punched someone else in the face, it would have been a red card. I don't understand how it's not.
Yeah, no, I agree. Any outfield player would have got sent off for that, regardless of. It's just such a shockingly poor tackle, and the massive repercussions it's had for Liverpool now is just crazy, isn't it? They've lost their best centre half. They probably should have nicked the result, and which will probably pop onto in a minute. But it's caused carnage, isn't it? Which is quite funny.
Yes. Now then, you said they should have nicked the result. Jordan Henderson scored at the end. It was VAR'd for offside, and I, for the life of me, have not seen an image where I can tell why it's offside, and I can't even tell where the line is going to. For me, it looks like the line is going below the sleeve, which means he can't score with that, which means it's not offside. I cannot tell, and you can't give that. I just crazy.
No, you can't. I agree. Like, you should give the attacking player the benefit of the doubt, and that is literally plain and simple. And that kind of bit of action, like he was onside, and I feel really sorry for Liverpool, but also I don't. So it's great. And to be fair to Everton, it's a good result. They didn't play very well, but they're in it this year. I think they look the real deal, which is good. So interesting.
And Richarlison going at the end is stupid, silly tackle. Didn't need to make it. Now you're out for 3 games, straight red card.
Yeah, agreed. And really disappointing it was against Thiago, because I really like Thiago, and his kind of no-look passing was absolutely sensational on the weekend. So he's an absolute dream.
Let's just quickly go back to Jordan Pickford, because no retrospective action was announced by the Premier League, by the FA, which is a joke. Again, because if they've not given a card, they can say they've missed it. Just ridiculous. He should be banned as well, which could end his career at Everton, because let's face it, it's not like he's been great this season and they've got the new goalkeeper in.
No, agreed. It was mentioned on the radio yesterday. I think everyone's just shocked how he isn't banned for at least a couple of games. It was such a poor tackle. He's got previous. I think he did it on Dele Alli back in the day as well. So it's the way he comes out is just it's not right, and it can cause serious issues.
Well, and 8 months.
Yeah, agreed. And I think he's just so erratic at the moment. It's just he makes a fantastic save in the game, and the next minute he's just doing something he shouldn't do, and he's got massive issues.
I know it's only one player, but this is going to be an equaliser in the title race this season, because Van Dijk is that good a player. And before he went to Liverpool weren't very good. Got into the Champions League final. They brought Alisson in, which shored up the only other real problem position in that defence. But all of a sudden, they look very, very shaky at the back.
Agreed. I'm not convinced by Matip and Gomez next to one another in a million years. And I've obviously I feel like Fabinho would be deployed there for a while, but it doesn't solve the fact you've lost probably the best player at the club. And especially with the goalie out as well at the moment, I think they might be in real trouble.
Chelsea 3, Southampton 3. Points lost for Chelsea, 2-0 up, back to 2-2. Score to make it 3-2. And then you lose it at the end. And another howler from Kepa on his chance after the new goalkeeper gets injured immediately.
Agreed. And I think our kind of prediction of Chelsea winning the league a couple of weeks ago looks very, very poor at the moment.
They're just off at the back. The Kepa, of course, should get stick, because he's made I think 2 mistakes for that goal, for Che Adams' equaliser. I look at it as a terrible back pass from Zuma. However, could have got there. And the way he lazily chucked his leg out, which made it so easy for him to go around him, then the ball bounces off the post and he can just kick it out. And he doesn't. It's ridiculous.
He's just an absolute debacle at the moment, isn't he? Every time he comes in, he makes a mistake. It's just like, surely Caballero would have been a better choice, 100%. And it sums up Chelsea at the moment. They're great going forward, look really lively, just can't defend properly. And if you can't do that, you're not going to win the league, and you're going to be struggling this season.
2 goals for Timo Werner and 1 for Hakim Ziyech. Great signs at the other end of the pitch for Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot to come from them, but it seems to be an issue with the entire Premier League at the moment. Everyone looks great going forward, but can't defend properly, and it's just a revolving theme of the league. But yeah, hopefully I'll start to pick it up a little bit.
Southampton's starting to come good, which is good. We were a little bit worried about them after the first couple of weeks, but again, just very premature to be worried about a team even this early in the season. But they are coming good and playing some nice stuff.
They are, I agree, and I think Theo Walcott played quite well, which is good to see. And yeah, they've just got a really nice balanced side, and if they can keep picking up points against big teams, they're going to be easily finish mid-table. Good side.
Manchester City versus the Arsenal. 1-0 to City, goal from Raheem Sterling, who captained the side, which surprised me. Very controversial moment where Aguero put his hand on the assistant referee. Whether it was male or female, it shouldn't happen, but it is, of course, highlighted because it's a female as well. Not a good look at all, and should be condoned.
Yeah, no, agreed. It was a bit weird watching it in real time. I was a bit like, oh, we shouldn't really be doing that. But then again, if it was a male lino, would it have caused too much drama? Probably not.
Would he have done it as well, though? The way he did it,
No.
it just doesn't look nice. And
No.
whether he meant any malice or meant it or not, yeah, I think it's one of those things that I think he needs to just make sure he doesn't do it again.
Yeah, agreed. And going back to the game, I obviously know City won. City are the better side, but this is not the City of 2-3 years ago. They are. You can get at City, and I think if teams set up properly, they're going to get points against City. I just don't rate them this year, but I don't rate anyone at the moment. So it's so up in the air, this league. It's going to be crazy.
Talk to me about Aubameyang. Has he phoned it in since he got his contract? Because it's starting to look a little bit like Pierre-Emerick Adebayor up on the left wing for Arsenal.
Agreed. It seems to be sort of 5 and 6 out of 10 performances since he's signed that contract. He's not really involved in the game. He's not taking the chances when he gets them. And you look at it at the moment and go, "Oh, that's a bit of a waste of money, really, isn't it?" But I think hopefully he'll start to hit the ground running again. I actually thought we played. What's up?
How long was the contract?
I think it's 3 years.
2.5 years' time, he's going to be class.
He is, yeah. Just when we're out the running for everything. But yeah, no, it's coming together at Arsenal, but we're nowhere near City at the moment, and the result was about right.
St James's Park, Newcastle going down 4-1 to Man United. Newcastle in it till right at the end, but I do have to say, props to Solskjaer. He made big decisions. He changed the team. He dropped Paul Pogba. Juan Mata was fantastic. Bruno Fernandes looked a lot better without Pogba there next to him. They actually played some really, really nice football. And 4-1 result maybe flatters them in that they couldn't get the ball in the net for 86 minutes or whatever it was. So it was 1-1 going into that last few minutes. But it doesn't flatter them in the swing of play, I don't think.
No, agreed. Obviously, Newcastle got a very fortunate goal, which obviously Luke Shaw will be a little bit disappointed about. But apart from that, they absolutely dominated the game. And as you say, probably should have been ahead before obviously taking the lead towards the back end of the game. And obviously 4-1 does flatter them, but they were probably deserving of a comfortable victory, to be honest. And took their goals really well. And as you say, Mata's come in the last couple of games. I quite like Juan Mata. He does the right things, and he's very technical, and he can find the holes, and he looks very good. And yeah, it's decent from United. We're not talking about them for once, which makes a change.
Yeah, with Newcastle, it's just the type of result you'll expect them to get every so often in this season. I think they'll be fine, but they're not going to beat everybody. Sheffield United 1, Fulham 1. I'm worried for Sheffield United. I know we said it's too early to be worried about teams, too early to be worried about Southampton. Sheffield United, in their favour, have a very good manager in Chris Wilder. They need to not panic with Chris Wilder if they're in the same position in a couple of months' time going into Christmas. They need to stick with him through the season. That's one thing. However, I look at the balance of these two teams and actual players on the pitch, and I thought, it's actually Sheffield United massively overperformed last season, and the players are probably on a par with each other in these two sides. Fulham, if anything, have got some slightly more exciting players. Now they've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Ademola Lookman, I thought, was very good. Mitrovic had a terrible game, but we won't get too much into that. Sheffield United I'm worried for because I feel like they've been found out slightly.
I agree. I think people have finally figured out their system and how to counteract it in a sense.
And they're a bit toothless.
Yeah, they do look toothless. And as you say, when they do get the chances, McBurney missed an absolute sitter of a header. And if that goes in, it's a completely different story. But as you said, Fulham are getting better, actually. And take away Mitrovic's terrible performance. Lookman was good. Loftus-Cheek was decent. It's better, but these are two teams that are going to be massively struggling this year.
It's just like there's a mental block with Mitrovic in the Premier League, because in the Championship he scores all of those chances and he's never been able to replicate that form in the Premier League. And you'd think that actually putting it in the net, unless it's a world-class save from a keeper you wouldn't get in the Championship, it should be the same. But there seems to be just something up there with him that he needs to overcome this season, because this could be his last chance.
Yeah, agreed. To be fair, he scored a couple of goals so far, but as you say, in a game like that where your team needs you the most, these are the games you've got to win. He didn't step up, gave a penalty away, missed a penalty. Shocker, absolute shocker.
Palace Brighton, the M23 or A23 derby, depending on which road you drive between the two places on, actually was quite feisty. Even though we've said it's the worst derby, the players seemed to get stuck in, which I liked. Brighton dominated again, though. But the problem for Brighton right now is they are dominating, but they're not getting the results. It's almost like Norwich last season, but this is a better team than Norwich, where they're playing so well and they're great. I think it was 20-odd chances to Crystal Palace's 1, which they scored. And you need to start winning, converting these great performances into wins soon, or the confidence will start to go and the performances might start to go as well.
Yeah, agree. It is classic Palace at home. Don't create a lot, sit back, hope to counter. Obviously, got a lucky penalty, I've got to say. I think.
Never a penalty.
Yeah, whoever it was just literally fell to the floor. Batshuayi, wasn't it? Lampy's never going to throw him to the floor, is he? He's tiny. So, it's just terrible decision. But yeah, as you say, when Brighton dominate a game like that, you've got to win it. They're pretty fortunate. Well, to be fair, you take a point and go, that's a result, we'll take it. But other games, they're not going to get a result out of it, and you go, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I'm not sure by Brighton. We'll see what happens.
They need a Neil Maupay. I don't mind, but I just think that they need a better centre forward than that. And then they're there. They've got everything up to that point.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams who just don't have that number 9. As we've mentioned, Sheffield United don't really at the moment. There's a couple of others who are desperately searching for someone who's going to score 10, 15 goals to keep them alive. And yeah, hopefully someone steps up for them.
I've been dreading this. Tottenham 3, West 3 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Right, okay, let's start with the positives for Tottenham. Brilliant at the start. I'll ask you a quick question. Is Harry Kane the complete centre-forward?
I think Harry Kane is the best number 9 and best number 10 in the Premier League at the moment. He is just so good at both sets of play. The way he...
Day 2, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. But yeah, the way he assists, the fact he's just the best goal scorer in the league, he's just brilliant at the moment. Really is.
He is. And Tottenham, to be fair, for that first 20 minutes were just unbelievable. That is the Tottenham that the fans want to see. It was exciting, it was organised, it's everything you want with a manager like Mourinho in charge, where he's got the team organised so that they're not conceding, but when they go forward, they're exciting. It was great. Why we didn't keep pushing and they didn't go 6-0 up is beyond me. Mourinho seems to get scared when he's ahead, which is annoying. I would love to have seen the camera in the dressing room of Harry Kane after that, because I would have been livid. He's done everything he could. He was even making blocks in his 6-yard box at one point. The Bale chance at the end, if he's fit, I think he scores that, but just he didn't seem fully fit to me. But lovely play. Game over. It was just a nightmare at the back, though. Tottenham main problem is that Toby Alderweireld seems to have just lost a yard of pace, and in losing that yard, I think he's more focusing on himself and not able to organise that back line and be the leader the defence needs. And that's what Tottenham are lacking right now, is a proper leader at the back.
Yeah, agreed. As you say, first 15, 20 minutes, it was an absolute blitz. I think 3 chances, 3 goals. And I think West Ham were just a bit shell-shocked, to be honest. And yeah, it's just another one. I think we sat and watched it together, and it reminded me a bit of Newcastle again. It just felt like one more goal, it's gone. We're done, job done. Walk away, take Kane off early, it's done. But yes, as they kind of West Ham grew into the game, and it just felt like they were going to score. And once they scored one, it just felt it was going to come. And
3-1, I thought they're well in this. And then the third goal, wonderful strike from Lanzini. Why Harry Winks has not belted that into row? Proper Sunday League, just hoofed it. He's taken a touch on the edge of the box. It's just annoying, but unbelievable. And I'm still getting nightmares of David Moyes dancing around like Auntie Vera. Party. Oh.
You can't see him on Strictly Come Dancing, can you, doing that? You look great. But yeah, he was. Oh, it's the game management of Spurs. You've lost 4 points against 2 teams at home you should be beating, and you put that into the league context, you'd be second right now. And it's just things like that. It just felt like it was coming. And fair play to West Ham. They got what they wanted, and fair play. Good result.
Well, I think West Ham played really well second half. First half they were just all over the show, but whatever Moyes did at time, they sort of figured it out, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely.
And I thought they're brilliant and worth the point at the end. If you come back from 3-0 down to draw 3-3, you deserve a point as far as I'm concerned, no matter how much Tottenham would look better and better on paper. Actually, one more point. Mourinho made a mistake taking Tongi and Dombele off. He finally is looking quality now.
Yeah, I do like he's technically very good on the ball, isn't he? And he's a strong lad. And yeah, that midfield combo is working quite nicely with Spurs. If you can stop conceding goals, you've got half a chance.
Leicester, Aston Villa at the King Power. Aston Villa 4 wins from 4. They're not top of the table, but they have the only 100% record. They played a game less than Everton. They're looking very, very good. Ross Barkley's settling in nicely. I think it's a little bit premature to be saying, can they do a Leicester? But why not dream, especially the way the Premier League's gone this season so far. If they keep it going, they can. Leicester will be very disappointed that Aston Villa looked a better side.
Yeah, 2 home games on the bounce, 2 defeats, and dominated, but just looked toothless without Jamie Vardy up front, unfortunately. And he makes a massive difference to that side. And again, Villa getting better by the week. I still think you can get at that back 4. I don't really rate anyone in that back 4, to be honest. But yeah, when they go,
I like Matty Cash, and I think Tyrone Mings is getting better.
But I think Conster and Target are both rubbish, so it's the other side that's a bit of an issue. But going forward, Barkley looks great. Grealish looks brilliant. Ollie Watkins looks great as well. They look decent. They look very, very good. And if they can keep it going, they're not going to win the league in a million years. But if they can keep it going,
we said that about Leicester. I think that I don't think Aston Villa will win the league. I don't think Aston Villa will finish in the top 4. I think they will finish in the top half.
Yeah.
But that's if they have a run like Leicester had where no one gets injured. Because we've got to remember that in the Leicester season, they barely changed a player in that lineup all season. And for Aston Villa, they are only a Grealish and a Barkley or a McGinn again getting injured away from all of a sudden being a completely different makeup and being a lot easier side to defend against and to beat.
Yeah, I completely agree. But it's a fantastic start so far, and I hope it continues because I do like Dean Smith. I think he's done a good job, and I don't want John Terry to be manager, so we'll keep it going.
Monday night football. You said no one in the Premier League can defend these. 2 teams can, or both of them are terrible going forward. West Brom 0, Burnley 0 at the Hawthorns. A boring game between 2 boring sides to be expected. There's not much else to say about that. And they're both going to be around the relegation zone this year. I think Sean Dyche has done brilliantly at Burnley, but no budget. Eventually, we'll catch up with you.
Yeah, agreed. I think there were chances in the game. I think Nick Pope had a bit of a blinder, supposedly, but they're both just poor sides. And you look at the moment, and they are both, well, especially West Brom, with certainties to be in and around it. And there's just nothing to be positive about either side. They're both rubbish. And it was expected, wasn't it? And there's nothing more to say.
Leeds Wolves, a winner from Raul Jimenez again for Wolves. He is a great centre forward. He's a brilliant striker. Wolves haven't really hit the heights this season yet, but remember they got off to a really slow start last year as well. Leeds, I think that actually a loss like this at home isn't necessarily the worst thing for Leeds because it will temper expectations a little bit because it was getting a little bit carried away when actually staying in the Premier League should still be the first goal. The top half finish would be remarkable.
I agree. I think this will be what Leeds are going to be like for the majority of the season. I think they're going to dominate the ball, but they didn't create a lot. And I know Bamford's obviously hit the ground running so far, but for me, this is what Bamford's going to be like. He's going to have a couple of half chances, not really score. Apart from that, they didn't do a lot. And they're going to get sucker punched, I think. And to be fair, Wolves held in their first half. They were getting absolutely battered. But second half, they grew into it, scored a very fortunate goal, but it's a good result. And I think this might be Leeds for the season. I think they're going to get undone a couple of times. And they're not going to do a Norwich. They're better than that. But I'm a little bit concerned this might happen quite a lot.
I think they'll be fine. I think that they'll be mid-table, potentially. But it should be staying in the league as the first priority. I mean, that's the goal. Leeds fans getting carried away thinking they're one of the best teams in the league and they're going to finish in the top 6. Yeah, it could happen. Of course it could, but I don't think it will. And I think that it's going to be an upper-bottom half finish, which is a great season coming into the Premier League. Just not going down is a good. Aston Villa last year stayed up by the skin of their teeth, and now that's what you need to think about. Anyway.
Agreed. Yeah, carry on, mate. Yeah, agreed.
That was pub football. That's it. On that note, on that bombshell, as they used to say on Top Gear. That's that. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Follow us on Instagram as well at pub_football. If you're seeing this on YouTube, if you're seeing this on Instagram, thanks for following the page. There's only one thing left to say, and that's cheers.